everyone, Stacy Heisman here for GI Jobs, and I am interviewing today a fantastic guest. His name is Ryan Hough. He's located in Washington, the state of Washington, I should say, and he's coming from us this morning. Hi, how are you, Ryan?
Hey, Stacy, I'm doing great.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, I read through your bio. It's fascinating. I enjoyed talking to you briefly before we got on the recording, but just for our audience out there, tell us a little bit about your military service. How long were you in for and what did you do?
So I was in for 15 years, 3 months and 7 days. Not that anybody's keeping track. I was a Harrier pilot and a forward air controller in the Marine Corps. And I was offered an early retirement, and so left as a major.
Excellent. Out of curiosity, how many deployments did you experience in your 15 years?
Did 4 deployments, 2 to Iraq and 2 to Afghanistan. 3 of them were flying, and then 1 of them was with Marine Special Operations Command.
Excellent. Okay, so you didn't do your entire 20, but it looks like you did 15, and then you transferred. Did you go back to your home state? What did you do?
I did. So I have 3, at the time, 3 young boys. And I grew up in a small town that if you do something wrong, your mom gets a call before you get home. And I spent my whole life getting as far away as possible from that. And the first thing I did was know that that was the best place to raise my sons. And it's an island right off of Seattle, where if you ever see the iconic ferry boats, it's a 35-minute ferry boat ride from downtown Seattle. So I moved back home with no real direction on what I wanted to do. Just I was going to figure it out.
Well, and that leads me to my next question. Tell us about your job now. It looks like you work for Amazon Business Strategic Accounts, right? Is that right?
That is right.
All right, you got to define that for us, because Amazon is Amazon. So you got to tell us exactly what you do in that large company.
Yeah, well, that wasn't the first job that I started with.
Oh yeah, okay, let's go back to the very first job that you did then. So what was the first job that you had when you came out?
So the first job that I did, I was agnostic as to like what industry I went into. I just knew where I wanted to live and how I wanted to be able to be involved with my boys and support my wife as she got her grad degree. And I found a role with a construction company running their safety program and working for a veteran, which if we have opportunity, I'd love to talk about how important that was to me.
We will.
And after 3.5 years, which is about a permanent change of station time, I started getting itchy feet, and there was a bunch of Marine Corps friends at Amazon that focuses on the business to business sales with companies and how they buy all the things that you and I buy from Amazon. Once I got there, I was in a project management role. Setting up customers, training them, helping them with their change management. And I was really supporting the large enterprise customers and sales team. And after 2 years, that team said, hey, why don't you come join us? We're with Strategic Accounts, which is the largest companies in the world. You know what we do, you're good with customers. And so here I am, a guy with no sales experience, joining a team of people with 25 to 30 years of experience, supporting those large enterprise customers.
I think that's interesting. And in your interview, your written interview, you mentioned that people sometimes think sales is a dirty word. And tell me, I read that, right? So tell me, because I think there is no selling in the military. You don't sell something. And I think
everything in the military, but
okay, sales, that's interesting. Yeah, no, tell us about it, because I think I think the audience can relate to this.
Sales is problem solving. Sales is trust. Sales is not the guy with the bad suit who's trying to, get you at the used car lot. If you're, if you are good at what you do and you believe in what you're doing, that's infectious. And, companies are trying to solve their customers' problems. Well, the way you solve their problems is with the company's products. That is sales at its most basic level.
That's really good. I really believe our listeners out there need to hear that, because a lot of industry looks to military as part of their business development part of their job. And I think it scares a lot of military service people away. I really do. I love that you said that. Well, let's go back really quick, because we just touched on the job you had when you first got out of the service, and there was a mentor in there that really kind of gave you some foundation principles. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So the chief operating officer of the construction company I joined, he was a West Point grad, former Army Ranger, and he's just an awesome human. And he really became my mentor as I went through my transition. And I really think a transition, the best analogy I can come up with is it's like standing behind a waterfall. You can kind of see what the beach and the sun looks like on the other side, but it's really turbulent as you go through it. It's not a checklist, like it's a process. And that process, I needed somebody, and I really think anybody going through a transition should really be intentional with finding a mentor that's gone through it before,
okay,
and can really help put things in perspective, because the civilian world, there's a lot of great things about it, but it's very different. And I needed somebody to really, be a confidant, be a mentor, be a boss. And so that was that. It was really important for me.
Sorry about that. Window washing outside, but we'll just keep going. Anyways, tell me really quick that you were talking about what you do now. Would you recommend Amazon for somebody who's transitioning out of the service? And if so, how would they get involved?
So yes, I would. And I've probably helped 100 veterans get hired in the last 7 years. Most importantly, it's starting with what do you want life to look like? And then working through that to, okay, I think go talk to this person, this company, or this company. Amazon specifically, Amazon is so big and it has so many opportunities that if you can get in the door, that one door will lead to 10,000 different opportunities. And Amazon is a company that its leadership principles, which is based actually on one of their senior VPs who came from West Point, includes things like bias for action, ownership, earns trust, things that are very compatible with the military. So I think Amazon's a great opportunity. There's the Amazon job site where there's a cameo video that I might have participated in. Also, I just posted on LinkedIn a project manager role, the one that my entry point that I'm encouraging people to apply to. And there's a whole military hiring program. 40,000 vets were hired last year in the US to Amazon. So vets are definitely sought after. And it's definitely a place where not only do you get the skills, but you can go anywhere once you figure out what exactly you want to do when you grow up.
I love this. And do you know what you want to do when you grow up?
I have no idea, but I'm having so much fun figuring it out.
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that your wife is a partner in crime with you, but she's we were talking beforehand. I'd like to give a shout out. She's tell us a little bit about her.
Yes, so I am really humbled to say that I am the spouse of the military spouse. Yeah, my wife Kate, she's a Pat Tillman scholar. She's now a doctor. A doctor of nursing practice, and all I had to do is get out of her way, get the Marine Corps out of her way, and I'm just, I don't know, luckiest guy in the world, and I'm speechless to what she's been able to do since we've been able to give her a chance to really bloom.
Sure. And I wanted our listeners to hear that too, that a lot of times it's a partnership between the military service member and the military spouse, and getting out sometimes allows each of you to flourish in their own way. So I think that's a great point to leave on. Any last recommendations, any like more sage advice than you've already given? Anything else you'd like to tell the listeners about, maybe they're nervous about getting out, or their fear or something like that? What would you like to share with them?
I got the advice when I was transitioning that I've lived by ever since, and that was not to let fear dictate your decisions. Everything that's new, let me quote Lionel Richie, because I will admit I love watching American Idol. On the edge of uncomfortableness is growth. And so if you're comfortable, I don't know if you're doing it right. Maybe you are, but it's scary. It's scary, but everybody does it. And the best way that you can do it is by seeking people that have done it before, lots of them, getting their opinions, but staying true to what it is that brings you happiness and what you want to do, not what you think you should be doing. So I'll leave it at that as my sage advice of.
Well, I don't think I've heard it better. So this has been a fabulous interview. I really appreciate you spending your morning with me and sharing your story about not only yourself, but also your wife, of course, and some of the more kind of emotional side of getting out the service and giving it, pass along your advice to those who are listening. So Ryan, thank you very much. All right,
Bye-bye.
have a good one. Bye.